Hey guys, it's Pranav with Boom SDR. Welcome to the video. Thank you guys for joining me today. Hopefully, we'll touch on some fairly interesting topics today. But before we get into all that, I have two favors to ask you guys. If you do enjoy the video, please hit like or subscribe below. And second, if there's anything that I left out or that you think would be constructive to the conversation at hand, please drop me a comment below. Would love to chat about how we can become better at sales and grow in the sales profession. So, today, the topic of today's video is going to be how to develop emotional intelligence for sales development reps. So in our last video, we kind of discussed the importance of emotional intelligence, but now that if we are to accept that it's an important aspect of our day-to-day, how do we actually activate on that? How do we develop the skills to be emotionally intelligent? And there's a few different topics, few different ways to do this. Everyone's approach is going to be different because everybody is inherently different. So I'm going to throw out a few that over the course of time, not only from experience, but also from just reading a ton of books and resources and talking to others in the profession, I came up with a short list here. And ultimately, again, I really want to emphasize that it's going to be different for everyone. But these are few tactics that have helped me in my career. And the first one is just to take a deep look at yourself and get to understand who you are as a person. What are your hot buttons? What are the situations that really trigger you to react in a certain way or feel a certain emotion? And how can you identify those triggers? Because once you've identified those triggers, you can then develop different methods of how you respond. But first and foremost, you need to be able to identify that, and that comes from just deep reflection on yourself. A lot of people that I've spoken to, Tim Ferriss is a huge proponent of this, is meditation. A lot of the people that have been on his podcast, again, one of the individuals I follow, and a lot of his podcasts and guests, meditation is something that really, really helps you calm yourself down and have a more controlled approach in situations that might typically drive an emotion. A negative emotion. A second, take breaks. I can't say this enough, and I can't stress this enough. No one can work 80 hours a week effectively. And the people that think that they do, most likely are not using those 80 hours as efficiently as they possibly could. So, burnout is a real thing. And ultimately, if you don't take time or spend time taking care of yourself, it's going to lead to negative consequences. So Pomodoro technique, working 90 minutes, taking a break, or working 60 minutes, taking a 15-minute break. There's multiple ways to do this and kind of structure your day. But ultimately, you really do need to unplug and kind of get in touch with yourself outside of work. And they say work-life balance or bring work to life to work. All of those are great, but ultimately what you need to realize is the underlying principle or guiding principle here is that don't push it too hard or you're going to burn out even faster. So schedule downtime and really make the time that you do spend at work or that you do spend on something as efficient as possible. Third, focus on empathy. And this comes from not only what you do on a day-to-day, but it ultimately comes down to what are you selling? Be passionate about what you're selling. Does it add value to your buyers? And if you can understand how you're helping your buyers, that's going to automatically help you develop better connections and have better conversations and interactions. So, understanding the emotions that drive you to be more empathetic to the people that you're ultimately selling to will make you far more emotionally intelligent and far more successful in sales in general. The second to last one, practice delayed gratification. Ultimately, a lot of things that I see with individuals that believe that they can do sales is they expect to find success immediately. And in majority of cases, that is not the case. It takes time to learn a specific sales process. It takes time to learn a industry, the terminology, the buyer persona. There's so many different variables to actually become a successful sales professional. And that's especially true as an SDR. Because as an SDR, you don't have previous experiences to build on. This is your first exposure to sales, or typically your first exposure to sales. And the reality is that you aren't going to instantly get success or find success. It takes time to train those muscles. And ultimately, if you learn that the reward in the future is worth it, and you can wait and work hard until you achieve that outcome, that's going to make that outcome that much better. So, really take time to give yourself a long term timeline to actually achieve that success. And then, last but not least, do a reality check. Ask yourself, is this the career I want? Is this what I want to do? Do I want to be in sales? Can I put in the effort that it requires to be successful at sales? And sales alone is a huge, huge industry. You can have um, transactional sales to field sales, inside sales to solution selling. Like there's a broad spectrum of sales alone. So always do a reality check. The type of sales you're learning, the people you're learning from, the process you're learning. Is it going to ultimately be something that's adding value to your sales career? Am I reaching out to, or am I selling into the buyer personas that I ultimately want to be selling into? Am I utilizing the techniques that I think will make me the most successful or resonate the most with my skill set? Understanding all these different variables in what you're doing on a day-to-day and making sure that it's in alignment with your future goals is the easiest way to stay engaged and make sure that you are growing and developing. And I know that's a lot, a few different techniques there, guys, but all of this kind of adds or kind of filters back up to the fact that we just need to get better control of our emotions to be successful as SDRs. There's always going to be emotion. It's probably one of the hardest jobs that most people in the sales profession have ever done, and actually in any profession have ever done. So it's hard for a reason, but always remember, delayed gratification, the reward at the end, if it's worth it, it's going to take a lot of sacrifice, and ultimately, if you do put that effort in, it'll be worth it. All right, well, that's about it for today, guys. Always going to leave you guys on a positive note, though. Always remember, growth is the priority. Everything we do here at Boom SDR, it's ultimately focused on growth. Here's a few books on the screen that I've personally found have helped me in my personal sales career. Not always, all of them are actually related to emotional intelligence, so check the description below. I'll actually toss in a few different links to more relevant titles that you can pick up to learn more about emotional intelligence. Great, well, that's it for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, hopefully you found the video to be enjoyable. Again, hit like or subscribe to our channel. A lot of the effort that we put into making these videos, it does help to see those numbers trickle in, and the fact that we are creating content that is actually helping individuals in the world. So thank you guys again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.